Hello friends, welcome to Manu Law Classes. मेरा नाम गौतम दीक्षित है. Now friends, in today's video we are going to discuss the important news from the Hindu edition of 23rd June 2022. Now let's go to the first news, which is coming from Afghanistan. So over here, earthquake has killed over 1000 in East Afghanistan. Now as you can see that the earthquake has occurred near the mountain region, near the mountain ranges. अगर हम mountain ranges की बात करें तो Hindu Kush is the range which is in Afghanistan and also in Pakistan. If we will just talk about the Pamir Knot, so Pamir Knot is the place from where various ranges like Hindu Kush, Himalaya, and then Taklamakan. These are the mountain ranges which originate from Pamir Knot. Now, if we will just see the important information. So the earthquake has struck about 44 kilometers from the southern city of Khost near the border with Pakistan. Uske baad, if we will just see over here that certain countries including Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, they have felt the shock of this earthquake. Now the magnitude of this earthquake was 6.1, that is called as measured on the Richter scale. रिक्टर स्केल एक स्केल होता है जिससे हम अर्थक्वेक की इंटेंसिटी को मेजर करते हैं. इट इज अ लॉगरिथमिक स्केल. इफ द रिक्टर स्केल में अगर मान लीजिए कि कहीं पे अर्थक्वेक 5 है और कहीं पे अर्थक्वेक 6 है, इट मींस दैट द एनर्जी रिलीज्ड इज 10 टाइम्स ग्रेटर. द नेक्स्ट इज अबाउट द ब्रिक्स. तो यहाँ पे अगर हम देखेंगे ब्रिक्स बिजनेस फोरम में आवर प्राइम मिनिस्टर ही हैज गिवन सच एन इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्ट्स. सो नाउ द प्राइम मिनिस्टर इज सेइंग दैट इंडियाज डिजिटल इकोनॉमी एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेक्टर दे हैव द टोटल पोटेंशियल फॉर $2.5 trillion. That is the first important thing. The next is that he is talking that there are more than 100 unicorns in over 70,000 startups in India. Now ये यूनिकॉर्न होता क्या है? किसी भी स्टार्टअप कंपनी का वैल्यूएशन अगर $1 बिलियन से ज्यादा है तो हम उसको यूनिकॉर्न कहते हैं. Now friends, let's go ahead. Now over here the prime minister is saying that there are investment opportunities under national infrastructure pipeline. So if you will just see the national infrastructure pipeline, यहाँ पे state government, central government and the private sector, all the three sectors have come up together for making infrastructure in India. इसी का जो एक दूसरा रूप है वो है PM गति शक्ति plan, which is also a plan for creating infrastructure in India. Now in the national infrastructure pipeline, the total investment opportunity is $1.5 trillion. The next is the BRICS summit के बारे में यहाँ पे information दिया हुआ है. So currently China is the chair of BRICS and the summit is going to take place in the end of June in China, and our prime minister is also going to participate virtually in this summit. Now friends, the next news is about the coral reefs. This is the information from geography. अब यहाँ पे कोरल रीफ्स में दो टाइप के कोरल्स होते हैं. एक होता है zooxanthellae, ओके, एंड एक होता है azooxanthellae. Okay, there are two different types of coral groups. India में coral reefs, they are found in Andaman and Nicobar Island, Gulf of Mannar, Park Strait, then Lakshadweep Island. Okay, so यहाँ पे जो एक group की बात हो रही है, okay, we are talking about a different species which is called as azooxanthellae. So जो ये azooxanthellae जो groups होते हैं, यहाँ पे they get their nutrition not from the sun but by capturing different forms of planktons. Planktons एक type का weed होता है sea में. These are they are a primary producer in the sea. That is the first thing. Second is that these azooxanthellae which has been found in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, they live beyond 200 meters and up to 1000 meters. They are also found in shallow waters, but they are also found in deep waters. जब हम zooxanthellae की बात करते हैं, so they are only found in shallow waters. The next is what is the importance of coral reefs. So if you will just see that coral reefs, they are one of the most productive ecosystem in oceans. किसी भी ocean का जब हमको biodiversity जब जानना होता है तो हम उसमें उसके coral reefs के health system को समझते हैं. If coral reefs are doing fine, it means the marine biodiversity in the oceans are good. but if they are destroyed, it means the oceans are in danger. Now, friends, the next news is also coming from geography and environment also. So here we are talking about Cable Limjao National Park. Okay, Cable Limjao National Park. It is in Manipur. Now, there is one important thing about Cable Limjao National Park. It is world's only floating national park. पहला तो important information ये है. The second thing is that it is in Loktak Lake in Manipur. थर्ड इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज दैट केबुल लिमजाओ नेशनल पार्क में फुमड़ीस होते हैं और उस फुमड़ीस पे एक स्पेशल टाइप के डियर रहते हैं जिसको कहते हैं सांगाई डियर. ओके, दे आर एंडेंजर्ड ब्रो एंटेलोप डियर और संगाई डियर. इसको हम डांसिंग डियर भी कहते हैं. ओके, सो एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन आ सकता है दैट वेयर यू विल फाइंड केबुल लिमजाओ नेशनल पार्क. सो इट इज इन मणिपुर in Loktak Lake. For what it is famous for? It is famous for Sangai deer or dancing deer. The next important thing is about Loktak Lake. So Loktak Lake is a Ramsar site. What is Ramsar sites? Ramsar sites are those sites which are recognized under Ramsar Convention for Wetland Protection. Now, friends, this is the editorial, the role of caste in economic transformation. Here, the author is describing that how caste system in India is one of the critical factor that the economic diversification in India has not taken place at a scale in which it has taken place in China and Southeast Asia. Over here, he takes two examples, land and education, and then how these two create a barrier to entrepreneurship and economic transformation in India. So if you will just see over here, let's take some observations by the experts. First is Arthur Lewis, who is a Nobel Prize winner for development economics. He emphasized the accumulation of physical capital for economic transformation in the developing world. इसका मतलब होता है इकोनॉमिक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होने के लिए कैपिटल का, फिजिकल कैपिटल का होना बहुत जरूरी है. ये कैपिटल सिर्फ पैसे के फॉर्म में नहीं हो सकता, लैंड के फॉर्म में हो सकता है, एसेट के फॉर्म में हो सकता है, in that way. So if economic transformation has to take place, then everybody should have the physical capital. That is the first thing. The second thing is it has been highlighted by Theodore William Schultz, who was an American economist, and he also got the Nobel Prize in 1979, when he says that there is a need for human capital for better transition to modern sector. For example, if the country is making a transition from agricultural sector to manufacturing sector or to service sector or to modern economy, we require human capital. Our workforce should be skilled, they should be educated, because it improves the productivity in the population and makes this entrepreneurship ability through training, education and experience. Okay, but if these two things are not there, that is lack of physical capital and lack of human capital, then there is barrier to economic transformation. Now this article says that the same caste structure in India has led to lack of physical capital among the huge population and lack of human capital or lack of education among the vast number of masses, which has led to creating the barrier for entrepreneurship. Now, यहाँ पे अगर हम बात करें about the land ownership and productivity, so यहाँ पे देखेंगे कि इंडिया में it has one of the highest land inequalities in the world as of today. ठीक है ना. Now ये जो land ownership जो unequal distribution है, it has been derived from the British legacy. British क्या करते थे, वो उनको land revenue से मतलब था, उनको caste structure या agriculture या peasant के welfare से कोई मतलब नहीं था. So what they did, they created a जमींदारी system where from whom they collected the revenue. उसके बाद जमींदार कैसे अपने peasants को exploit कर रहा है या क्या कर रहा है, उससे उनको कोई लेना देना नहीं था. So what happened, that certain caste they were assigned land ownership and certain caste they were kept outside the land ownership. Okay, उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि जब इंडिपेंडेंस हुआ और यहाँ पे जब ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन आया, उसके बाद तो ये सबसे ज्यादा बेनिफिट किया उन लोगों को जिनके पास लैंड था. तो जब लैंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हो रहा था, ठीक है, सो व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग ओवर दैट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, दैट द scheduled caste, okay, or the lower caste, they could not get the land जो redistribution हुआ, इसमें से जो intermediate caste होते हैं जिसको आज हम other backward classes भी कहते हैं, उनको इसमें ज्यादा फायदा हुआ, okay, and these were the caste which benefited from green revolution. उसके बाद what happened was that कि जैसे ही इनका ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन से जैसे ही एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्टिव हुआ, so they started controlling, they had tightened their social control over others in rural India, and land became the matter of social status and pride in many parts of rural India. उसके बाद 1991 में जब इकोनॉमिक लिबरलाइजेशन आया, ओके, देन ऑल्सो व्हाट हैपेंड, द रियल एस्टेट का डेवलपमेंट हुआ, कंस्ट्रक्शन का डेवलपमेंट हुआ, और जो एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड था, ओके, वो अपने प्रोडक्टिव कैपेसिटी को लूज कर गए, बट स्टिल लैंड होल्ड्स एज अ सोर्स ऑफ इनहेरिटेंस, फैमिली लीनिएज एंड स्पेकुलेटिव कैपिटल, ओके. द थिंग इज, यहाँ पे भी एक प्रॉब्लम क्या आया कि जो लैंड जिनके पास था वो क्या किया कि दे डिड नॉट focused on education, okay, and they could not take the benefit of new sectors which were emerging after the liberalization. Second है कि education, यहाँ पे mass education जो हमारे DPSP का part है, but still education is still a barrier, or the accessibility to education is still very difficult for many people in the country. So it has led to what you can say a divide in education in the caste structure. तो अगर हम यहाँ पे देखेंगे कि if we compare it with Chinese and other East Asian countries, okay, they have invested in their basic education and they shifted towards higher education. This led them to take the benefit of their human capital and to become the manufacturing global hub and to take the advantage of increasing supply chain in the wake of liberalization and globalization. The next is about COVID-19. So here we are talking about two important variants of Omicron. So Omicron क्या है? It is the variant of concern which has been declared by World Health Organization already. अब जो इंडिया में जो थर्ड वेव आया था जनवरी में, that was because of BA.2. But now here we are talking about two more variant, that is BA.4 and BA.5. अभी इंडिया में इनका रिसर्जेंस इतना नहीं हुआ है, बट स्टिल वी आर सीइंग दैट द केस पॉजिटिविटी इन इंडिया इज इंक्रीजिंग बाय मिड जून, ओके. तो यहाँ पे एक बार फिर से हम देख रहे हैं कि अभी वेव तो हुआ नहीं है, बिकॉज देयर आर फ्यू हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल्स दे हैव रिसीव्ड देयर डबल वैक्सीन, बट स्टिल BA.4 and BA.5 which has created havoc in Portugal, okay, it is maybe a cause of concern, okay. Now, World Health Organization and European Center for Disease Control, they both have labeled BA.4 and BA.5 as variant of concern already. So in India, now there is a need to follow COVID appropriate behavior so that the next wave does not hit India. The next is bird trouble. So here we are talking about bird strikes and aviation safety. So International Civil Aviation Organization, which is headquartered at Montreal in Canada, it is a specialized agency of United Nations. तो इसका एक डेटा है that is called as bird strike information system, and यहाँ पे जो डेटा है from 2008 to 2015, ओके, इस डेटा को एनालाइज किया गया और पाया गया है कि द बर्ड फ्लाइट, जो बर्ड का जो फ्लाइट है इट इज ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिंग द एयरक्राफ्ट लैंडिंग एंड वेरियस ऑपरेशंस, ओके. तो यहाँ पे क्या है कि अप्रोच, ओके, so 33% of the bird strike is happening during approach, okay. Then 31% of the bird strike is taking place during takeoff. Then landing के समय 26% of bird strikes हो रहे हैं, and then if you will just see that unknown 5% and en route is 4%. Then whenever the bird strike takes place, okay, the flight they resort to precautionary landing, जो इंडिया में भी हो चुका है. एक फ्लाइट थी जो पटना से दिल्ली जा रही थी, तो जब वो टेक ऑफ कर रही थी तो उसको बर्ड ने स्ट्राइक किया, उसके लेफ्ट इंजन में प्रॉब्लम हो गया, सो इट हैड टू डू एन इमरजेंसी लैंडिंग इन पटना. Then there was a Guwahati Delhi flight which was again taking off, and the bird hit in the left engine, and again it had to do a emergency landing in Guwahati. Okay, so यहाँ पर हम देखेंगे कि जो इंटरनेशनल सिविल एविएशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, इट इज कलेक्टिंग द बर्ड स्ट्राइक डेटा सिंस 1965, but it was in 1917 that it requested the member states to begin the reporting of bird strikes to ICAO. तो यहाँ पर हम देखेंगे कि बर्ड स्ट्राइक के वजह से जो प्रिकॉशनरी लैंडिंग होती है, तो उसमें देखिए रीजंस क्या क्या हैं. इंजन शटडाउन 3%, अबॉर्टेड टेक ऑफ 21%, प्रिकॉशनरी लैंडिंग 49% एंड अदर फैक्टर्स 28%. उसके बाद जो बर्ड स्ट्राइक्स है, ठीक है ना, वो पर्चिंग बर्ड्स का 22% है. मींस पर्चिंग बर्ड्स आर हिटिंग द एयरक्राफ्ट दैट कंसिस्ट ऑफ 22% एंड शोर बर्ड्स 11%. ठीक है, उसके बाद सबसे कम किसका है, हेरॉन, स्टोर्क, इबिस एंड फ्लैमिंगो विच कैन नॉट फ्लाई हायर. नाउ द नेक्स्ट इज फ्रेंड्स G7 summit in Germany. So the G7, it is the group of industrialized and developed nations. The members of G7 are USA, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, United Kingdom, Japan. Now over here, the last G7 summit was organized in UK in Cornwall. Now this time the G7 summit is to be organized in Germany. So India is not a member of G7, but India is a special invitee. Okay, so if you will just see over here that along with India, so other countries are also invited to G7. So those are Argentina, Indonesia, Senegal, and South Africa. So over here, the Prime Minister is going to participate in this G7 summit. So as we can see here that it includes the members are given over here. तो कभी कभी पूछते हैं कि इज यूरोपियन यूनियन इज पार्टिसिपेंट इन G7 मीटिंग. So yes, European Union also take part in G7. The next is that Russia was the part of G7 at that point of time. G7 was called as G8, but after the annexation of Crimea in 2014, Russia's membership was suspended indefinitely and G8 became G7. The next is, before going to Germany, our Prime Minister is going to stop at United Arab Emirates. So we already know that India and UAE have signed their FTA, Free Trade Agreement, and it has come effective from 1st May 2022. So over here, the President will be paying his condolence visit after the death of UAE President Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and will also meet the new ruler and who is also the President of UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. So these two names are very important. Please make a note of it. The next, from the foreign page, we have two important news. So the news one is about an appointment. So Indian American scientist Dr. Aarti Prabhakar, she has been nominated by the US President Joe Biden as a top science advisor to the US President. This decision has to be confirmed by Senate, and then she will be finally appointed to this post. Now, Dr. Prabhakar, she will be the first woman immigrant to head the director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy. So this is also very important that इनका nomination जो हुआ है वो किस post के लिए हुआ है. It is for the director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy. The next is Pakistan secures IMF deal to restore $6 billion stalled aid. तो यहाँ पे Pakistan we have already done, just like Sri Lanka, Pakistan is also going through not through a crisis, full-blown crisis like Sri Lanka, but Pakistan is experiencing problem in repaying its loans, debts, or buying the crucial imports. Now friends, यहाँ पे देखिए जो पाकिस्तान का जो IMF के साथ डील हुआ है, that is International Monetary Fund. It is the स्पेशलाइज्ड एजेंसी ऑफ द यूनाइटेड नेशन. इनकी जो मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर हैं शी इज क्रिस्टीना जॉर्जीवा, और जो डेप्यूटी मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर हैं शी इज गीता गोपीनाथ. सो ओवर हियर इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड हैज रिस्टोर्ड द $6 बिलियन असिस्टेंस पैकेज which was termed as make or break deal. Okay, and now it will be extended to Pakistan, और अभी के लिए उनको $1 बिलियन तुरंत दिया जा रहा है. Okay, so now over here यहाँ पे कुछ है कि IMF के कुछ कंडीशंस हैं, कुछ पाकिस्तान को प्रायर एक्शंस लेना पड़ेगा बिफोर इम्प्लीमेंटिंग द डील बाय द IMF. So, the government has agreed to impose 1% poverty tax on firm earning rupees 15 crore, 2% on those earning 2% on those who are earning rupees 20 crore, 3% on over rupees 25 crore, and 4% on over rupees 30 crore. Now from economics front, so यहाँ पे माइकल Patra जो है, Michael Dev Patra, he is a deputy governor at RBI and he is also the member of Monetary Policy Committee. And here he is saying that the Central Bank of India, that is RBI, it has no choice but to raise the interest rate to keep a check on inflation. So RBI has already increased its RBI has already increased its policy rate by 50 basis point. RBI was following the accommodative monetary policy where it kept the repo rate at 4% to support growth in India. But due to rising inflation, now the Reserve Bank of India has increased the repo rate from 4 to 4.4% and then to 4.9%. Major reason for rising inflation in India is the first is that the rise in crude oil prices, then recovery in prices in global market, and if we see the food inflation is also rising, shortage of edible oil and shortage of and the price rise in edible oil and vegetables, etc. The next is a factual information. Air India's future under Tata is positive but challenge persist. यहाँ पे हमारे लिए जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है वो ये जानना है that who is the newly appointed chief executive officer of Tata Airlines, Tata which is of Air India, sorry, who is the newly appointed chief executive officer of Air India. Air India has been acquired by Tata Group recently, so the new chief executive officer is Willie Walsh. The next is the current account deficit. So the current account deficit, it measures the deficit in trade of goods, merchandise goods. तो यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे तो जो current account deficit है, it has widened to, it is 1.2% of GDP because of widening trade deficit. उसके बाद because the FedEx, that is Federal Reserve, जिसकी चेयरमैन है जेरोम पोवेल, they have increased their rates. So what is happening? The capital flight has taken place. Many foreign portfolio investors, who are also called as FPI, they are pulling out their money from Indian economy and then they are putting it in the US economy because there the interest rate is rising, and that's why we are seeing that the FPI is recording an outflow of $16.8 billion. And the second is that because of this, the value of rupee is depreciating against dollar. The next is, if you will just say the merchandise trade deficit, it has narrowed to $54.5 billion in March quarter, and the trade deficit was $60.4 billion. So friends, that's all for today. We will meet tomorrow again with the daily Hindu analysis. Till then, have a nice time. Take care. Thank you.